Every great champion has a beginning, and for Winx, that story starts in the rolling hills of Australia's Hunter Valley. She was bred by John Camilleri's Fairway Thoroughbreds, one of the country's most respected breeding operations, and foaled at the legendary Coolmore stud in Jerry's Plains. It's a property synonymous with thoroughbred excellence, where some of racing's finest have taken their first breaths. But what truly set Winx apart wasn't just where she was born, it was what she was born to be. Her sire, Street Cry, was an Irish-bred stallion who had conquered the world stage, winning the Dubai World Cup in 2002 before becoming one of the most sought-after international sires. Her dam, Vegas Showgirl, brought strong Australasian bloodlines into the mix. It was a pedigree that whispered promise, combining proven international class with homegrown talent. Even as a foal, there was something different about her. Those who saw her early described her as a leggy Elle Macpherson type, an elegant, athletic frame that hinted at the power and grace she would one day display on the racetrack. In 2013, Winx arrived at the Magic Millions Gold Coast sale as a yearling, one of hundreds hoping to catch a buyer's eye. Bloodstock agent Guy Mulcaster, working to a budget, saw something special. He secured her for $230,000 Australian dollars, a respectable price, certainly, but far from the millions paid for the sale's headline acts. Nobody in that auction house could have predicted what was about to unfold. She entered the ownership of a partnership including Magic Bloodstock Racing's Peter and Patty Tighe, Richard Trueek, and Debbie Kepidus, daughter of prominent owner Bobbingham. It was a group with deep racing knowledge and experience. They had bought themselves a future champion. They just didn't know it yet. If you were looking for the next superstar of Australian racing, you might have walked right past her. Winx wasn't physically imposing. She didn't have the massive frame that made champions like Phar Lap instantly recognizable. Her stride was shorter than those legendary horses who seemed to eat up the track with every bound. There was no obvious freak attribute, no single physical feature that screamed greatness. But here's the thing about legends, they're not always born looking the part. Winx wasn't built like a legend. She moved like one. What she lacked in raw physical intimidation, she made up for in something far more valuable, an athleticism and fluidity that would become her trademark. A grace and efficiency of movement that allowed her to glide across the turf with a rhythm all her own. Sometimes, the greatest champions aren't the biggest or the strongest. They're the ones who simply refuse to lose. Her name itself carries a touch of that playful confidence. Winx was inspired by her dam, Vegas Showgirl, and by owner Richard Trueek's memories of 1970s and 1980s Las Vegas, of men winking at burlesque dancers in the dazzling lights of Sin City. It's a name with personality, with attitude, with just a hint of showmanship. Perfect, really, for a mare who would go on to captivate a nation. Before she ever set foot on a racetrack, it was already decided. She would race in Magic Bloodstock's distinctive dark blue silks, adorned with white epaulets and a large white M emblazoned across the chest. It was a uniform that would become iconic, that children would recognize instantly, that would flash past winning posts time and time again. The stage was set. The costume was chosen. Now all she had to do was perform. On the 4th of June, 2014, a late-blooming 2-year-old named Winx made her racing debut at Warwick Farm over 1,100 meters. She won. It was a promising start, and she backed it up with another victory before finishing second in the Group 3 Kindergarten Stakes at Randwick. 3 starts, 2 wins, 1 second. Not bad, but nothing that suggested immortality was just around the corner. Her 3-year-old season told a different story. One of growth, of learning, of a young filly still figuring out who she was. Across 10 starts in 2014 and 2015, she won 4 times, finished second 3 times, and was unplaced twice, the only season in her career where she'd taste defeat more than once. She captured the Group 2 Furious Stakes over 1,200 meters at Randwick, showing glimpses of class, but the consistency wasn't there yet. In February 2015, she went unplaced in both the Light Fingers Stakes and the Surround Stakes. Her connections knew she was still growing, still maturing into that elegant frame. Then something changed. On March 14, 2015, in the Group 2 Phar Lap Stakes at Rosehill, Winx defeated male opposition over 1,500 meters and stretched out in distance successfully for the first time. It was a breakthrough, but the journey wasn't smooth. She was unplaced in the Group 1 Vinery Stud Stakes at 2,000 meters, then beaten as favourite in the Group 1 Australian Oaks by the outsider gust of wind over 2,400 meters. That was her final defeat. On September 12, 2015, now a 4-year-old, Winx returned in the Group 2 Theo Mark Stakes at Rosehill. Despite a slow start, she rallied from the back of the field to win by a head. It was win number 1 of what would become 33. Later that season, she demolished the field in the Cox Plate at Moonee Valley, winning by nearly 5 lengths in a track record time of 2 minutes and 2.98 seconds, breaking Might and Power's long-standing record. She was named Australian Horse of the Year. The streak had begun. And the world was starting to notice. If her 4-year-old season announced her arrival, her 5-year-old campaign in 2016-17 launched Winx into the stratosphere of racing immortality. She opened with a commanding victory in the Warwick Stakes at Randwick, defeating the talented Hartnell by 3.5 lengths. It was a statement. Weight for age competition didn't intimidate her, it inspired her. By the time she won the George Main Stakes, she pushed her career earnings past $7 million and her winning streak to 11 consecutive victories, equaling the legendary Kingston Towns record. But Winx wasn't interested in equaling records. She was interested in shattering them. From May 2015 through April 2019, Winx won 33 races in a row, every single one in stakes company. 33 straight. It's a stretch of dominance that modern elite racing has never seen matched. During this period, she achieved what no horse in history had ever done. She won the Cox Plate 4 times. 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018. She broke the track record twice and posted the widest winning margin the race had ever seen. By the time the dust settled, Winx had accumulated 25 Group 1 victories, a world record. She'd amassed over 26 million Australian dollars in prize money, a world record by the International Racing Bureau's standardized methodology. As a 6-year-old, she set a race record in the George Ryder Stakes with a blistering 1 minute and 33.65 seconds over 1,600 meters, proving her acceleration remained lethal even as the years accumulated. Her 7-year-old farewell campaign was poetry. She won the race now renamed in her honor, the Winx Stakes, then took the Apollo Stakes in record time, pushing her streak to 30. On April 13, 2019, at Randwick, Winx stepped onto the track for the final time in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. She won it for the 3rd consecutive year, joining racing royalty like Carbine and David as a historic triple winner at that meeting. 37 wins from 43 starts. After her 5-year-old season, she never finished worse than first.